Hello and welcome to the FSF Podcast Live Edition. Hey guys, welcome to the FSF Podcast. This is our 5 at 5, and we have the amazing Sam and Anna from Growing Up Skywalker with us. They are here today to share some nerdy fun. And so before we get into our 5 at 5 topic, tell everybody about your podcast, why it's so awesome, and why I continue to be a Patreon subscriber.
Thank you, Tim, first of all. Yeah, hello, my name is Anna. I'm from Growing Up Skywalker. We are your home base for non-toxic, chronological, in-universe Star Wars watch-throughs from the perspective of a new fan, which is me.
And an old nerd, who is me.
Well, Sam is our, veteran watcher who has seen Star Wars, and I'm the one who is like, I don't know, who's Padme?
So we started 2 years ago over that, watching Phantom Menace, and then moving on to episode 2, and then watching all of the Clone Wars.
All of the Clone Wars. All 122 episodes of the Clone Wars.
So 122-ish episodes of our podcast. We're currently just about to finish up Andor. So we're in BBY 5 and really excited to keep moving forward. And Tim, you're one of our patrons. You also get our extra content. So we drop on Tuesdays, but our extra content drops on Patreon on Thursdays. And we have we're watching Tartakovsky right now, and then we're going to watch Visions and all sorts of non-canon Star Wars stuff.
We're reading some books to recap on Patreon, so we're just kind of doing all the canon stuff.
And I am a grateful guest of the FSF Podcast live game with John and Kathleen and Tim. It's a real treat, and so yeah,
we have a lot of fun with you.
Glad to be here.
It's chaotically fun energy, so good times. All right, so yeah, like we said, this is our 5 at 5, and I'm apparently 12 years old and have a voice break now and then, so it'll be fine. Nobody noticed it. Jedi hand wave, you didn't notice anything. This is the 5 at 5. They are Growing Up Skywalker. Honestly, guys, go check them out. You will not be disappointed. It's an amazing podcast. It's one of my favorites. So please go check them out. Go check them out on Patreon. Throw them some money. They need it. We all need it. Fun.
Who doesn't?
All right. No. All right. So let's talk about it. Our 5 at 5. What's our topic for tonight?
Our topic for tonight is our top 5 Star Wars jobs. And in the spirit that we actually record, we came up with separate lists, each of us with 3, because we are assuming there's going to be some overlap, but we did not reveal our lists to each other.
I'm prepared to be shocked. I got some deep cuts on this list, so I brought receipts from my now 2.5 years of like microcosmically watching niche Star Wars content. So I'm hyped.
And
all right, very cool.
So let's see what we got.
All right, so how this is going to go for the kids at home as you're playing the home version of this game. There are 6 picks. We have a top 5. So what it is they each have 2. They're going to rotate. One will give a pick, then the other will give a pick, and then they're each going to share their top 1. And so that's how it's going to go. All right, here we go. So number 5.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling.
Oh, hey, that's mine.
Ooh, who's this guy?
This is the Explorer from Visions, The Village Bride. And so in the there's a Star Wars game system from Final Flight Games. It's super fun, and you can be an explorer. It gives you great skills. I just think it'd be so fun in the Star Wars universe to be like, I'm hopping in my ship, I'm packing up like 10 months worth of food in a lunchbox, and I'm flying off to find like weird cosmic stuff. And it's like being a Star Trek explorer without the bureaucracy. It sounds great. I'd love to be an explorer.
Okay, so for the folks at home, this is Visions, Season 1, Episode 4, The Village Bride. This guy on screen is wearing a bucket for a hat. And all we know about him is that he like zips around and tells Force users to participate in society for the good of all?
I think he was doing that just as he was just an explorer on that planet, and there happened to be a hidden Jedi who he met because he's an explorer and he finds them. But my degree is in geophysics, and I've always kind of wanted to be that kind of geophysicist who like rides a horse across Mongolia and strikes it rich with gold. And this is how you do it as a Star Wars character.
What is this job title?
Explorer.
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 Star Wars Galactic Explorer.
Galactic Explorer.
Okay, I love that. Sign me up.
And-
that's better than the other ones that I picked.
And part-time chef, because that looks like a hand blender.
Yeah. I mean, it also, if
Doesn't he weaponize that?
No, he weaponizes his helmet.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
Why?
It's only-
Look how big it is.
Yeah, it's only on your head. Why wouldn't you weaponize it?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need that. That's extra. All right, so Galactic Explorer, number 4.
Ding-a-ling-ling. Oh, this is me.
Ooh.
Okay, for folks at home who are maybe listening to the audio podcast, we have a stunning, ravishing, feminine, beautiful Trandoshan gal in like full body armor and a cloak, and she looks great. Behind her is her hapless husband, who is a human. This is Winloss and Nock. They're from the Dr. Aphra comics, and what they are is pacifist monster hunters who don't kill monsters. They just track down monsters and like transport them safely somewhere else. And they are so in love, and I love them.
They do occasionally get pranked by Dr. Aphra because that's Dr. Aphra's love language. But importantly, they prank her back.
So they're like a husband and wife monster bounty hunter team. And that just like, Sam, I would do that with you.
Yeah, you would.
Sam would not do that back.
It's
fine.
I just feel like with my skill set, I'm the monster hunter and you're the helper, the little pickpocket, you're the part of the operation.
Thank you. I would empathize so hard with those monsters.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I would not.
I just love the fact that there's the "I love you, I know"
Mhm.
Yeah.
on the screen, and that.
Incredible.
So when I saw that image come in, I was like, "Aw, it's Han and Leia." But
Yeah.
like, a lizard version.
Yeah.
So
And they stay married, which I think is great.
Yep.
that's very cool. All right, excellent. All right, number 3.
Okay. I want to be a galactic antiquities dealer, and here's why. I imagine living in the Star Wars universe, and you have 100,000 credits to spend, and you get a helmet or a brick or a stapler, and this stapler is Darth Vambrace's stapler that he was trapped in. And then a Jedi freed his soul. And this was 10,000 years ago. Like the history. And you get to hang out with like the most refined of clientele who buy your cool stuff. You're selling stuff to Dryden Voss and Jabba the Hutt and Mon Mothma and Sheev Palpatine, all upstanding citizens.
Okay, but clarifying question. What we have on the screen is Luthen Rael from
Mhm.
Andor and his cool assistant Clea. Do you want to be Luthen or Clea?
I want to be Luthen, but I don't want to be like the spy master Luthen. That sounds like a
So
recipe for a heart attack. I just want his day job.
You don't want to foment a rebellion on the side. You just want to be a foppish antiquities dealer.
That sounds delightful.
That does sound nice.
Okay, I have 2 comments.
You're channeling your Nathan Fillion right now.
Tim is struggling for words.
I'm a little concerned that about who you think are your upstanding clientele.
Okay. Fair.
Because they're clientele for sure. For sure, they're clientele. Upstanding
Hey,
depends on what I think depends on the crowd.
if they pay, all the money spends the same.
Well, you got me there. Okay.
So you're a morally ambiguous, foppish, galactic antiquities dealer.
No, I just don't do background checks. That's not my job.
Wow.
All
You got
right.
me there as well. Okay, point 2. Okay, so this is a whole thing. I believe Luthen is a Jedi in hiding.
Okay.
Are you an antiquities dealer who's a Jedi in hiding?
I think not. I think the Jedi in hiding thing is interesting, but we talked about this in one of our recent episodes of Andor. I am always struck in Bad Batch in Andor, even in Rebels, that there are heroes who arise and who use their skills to the best of their ability without being superheroes. I think it's more amazing that Cassian and Luthen and Clea do their day jobs without the Force. They're sitting there scrubbing their electronic signatures and looking for tradecraft in the halls of Coruscant, just using Mark I eyeballs and basic tradecraft. That makes it much more interesting to me, because that brings back, Tim, you're not of a similar age as far as Star Wars here, of being really big original trilogy fans, because that's all we had when we were kids.
Yeah.
It was such, before Phantom Menace, that like you could be a Jedi. I could be a Jedi. All I had to do was like believe in myself to become one. And I think that's cool about some of these Star Wars characters. You can be exceptional at something without being magical. You can just be good at your job.
Just an ordinary person who becomes extraordinary.
Yeah, that's the hope.
That's nice.
Well, that's one of the great storylines of Andor, right? Is that we're looking at a complete story of people who are fighting the Empire without the use of the Force. There's not a lightsaber, there's not a Force user scene, and so it's kind of cool. But still, I don't know. I still think it'd be kind of cool to be the hidden Jedi. Not just saying.
I'm feeling pretty sold on just having a day job doing what Luthen does. It looks like fun.
Mm-hmm.
The intergalactic travel to go find the things would be very cool. Yeah.
Maybe the retail is cool, but.
And the one last comment is, I hope you're really good at negotiating and bartering, because if you give the Hutts the wrong price, you're a dead man. So there's always that.
There's always that.
There's always that. All right, number 2. Here it is.
Okay. Hear me out. I said I had deep cuts. Let me walk you through it.
I'm listening.
In season 4 of the Clone Wars, there is a throwaway arc where R2 and 3PO go on an adventure. And Sam and I internally call this the R2 3PO mess around arc, because like I don't remember what the name of the arc is. And in one of those episodes, they end up going underground. They're being led by this cloud of shimmering pink light. They end up in like Alice in Wonderland goes goth punk underground. And they find this floral throne. And the pink light materializes into this stunning creature whose name is Orphney. And her only job, as I said on the screen, is to be a fickle underground deity. And that sounds amazing.
I love it. I love being the part of deification that I would enjoy is actually the timelessness of it. Because once you've taken time out of your perception, then you're living a completely different concept of life above and beyond. I think that's really cool. I
just wanted to have like a whole realm where I had no responsibilities but to like mess around with travelers and lure them into the deeps. And if I felt magnanimous, guide them back to the surface. Sam and I did a whole Patreon episode on inexplicable Force users, and Orphney was like one of the centerpieces. The other centerpiece was Mother Talzin of the Night Sisters.
Right.
We had a lot of fun with that one.
Yeah.
So who wouldn't want to be Orphney?
I think my favorite thing about this pick is Sam's reaction to the pick. So I don't think he expected it at all. So
I did not expect fickle underground deity, and I need to download our font because it looks great.
I know. To be fair, she's got a very Burt Reynolds pose going on.
She's Goldblum in Jurassic Park.
Now all I can think of is her standing there with like a hat and be like chewing some gum.
Yeah.
Listen, I came here to lure travelers into the deeps and blow bubbles, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
There you go. Nice. All right. Number 1, the big kahuna, the big enchilada for each of you. Let's see which one is first, because I don't remember whose I put first.
We'll find out. Oh, it's me.
Wait! I was gonna do this as my number one.
That would have been the one.
Do you want to be the owner of a droid spa?
I did want to be the owner of a droid
Are
spa.
you kidding me?
We were worried that this would happen.
If I pulled my notes out, it would have a strike through on owner of droid spa. But wait, tell me.
Okay, so I'm not a particularly aesthetic person, but I kind of love the idea of helping people. And the nice thing, like imagine, and there's the other part. Like if you're someone who's really detail oriented, I really love washing my car. I love like bringing something back to factory spec. Now imagine if you can combine them and you're the droid spa owner operator.
You're Vanna Whiting this explanation. Like,
behold, imagine if there's a bunch of droids that come by and they pay you and you just get them like clean and factory spec and like, and it's not a delicate process. It's not an aesthetic process either, you know, because you come in and you're just like, no, I'm shoving you through a literal car wash. That's nice. It makes droids feel good about themselves, and you're providing a valuable service in beauty and self-image. I love it.
R2-D2 never once looked better than when he exited this droid spa in the Clone Wars. I'm like flabbergasted
super shiny
that we had the same dream job.
Well, it explains a lot about, you know, the two of you. So
yeah, it does.
Yeah. So do you want to be a Betty droid, or do you want to be like a step above the Betty droid?
Oh, I want to be the hut behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to be. I want to. You know, I want to be managing the thing. I don't want to be like actually I want to be providing the service for people, but I don't want.
Sam doesn't want to get his hands dirty with soap suds.
Well, no, you can't be bothered with that when you're managing it. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And besides, if he's the hut behind the scenes, he's got a big head, little arms. He's got to be able to reach them.
Oh my God, you're so right.
Yeah.
Nobody asks the hut for a hug, but it's just because their arms are too small.
That's right. He's a small arms dealer. So yeah. All right. So yeah.
The final number one.
The final number one.
Here it is.
Okay. Can you imagine? Let me paint you a picture. You are a 10-year-old. You are hanging out with your 5 loving dads. One of them is not always around, but it's fine. We forgive him. And like your cool aunt in her cool bar, and all you do all day is play video games for money and like support your family, and everybody loves you. I mean, that sounds great.
There was something appealing about being a clone to me, especially in the post-Empire era, because like, or just being like a combatant or a soldier of some type, or a Jedi Guardian. That was on my list, because it's like work out for 8 hours, do like study for beating people up for 8 hours, sleep for 8 hours. That's your whole day. And that's like what Omega's day is as well. It's like study for her space GED with her mega brain uncles and the other ones. And then like,
like do archery practice and work out and swim. And the mayor invites you to a feast and you get to see the galaxy. And like, you know what I was really good at was being a gifted child. And you know what I could still be really good at if I had the opportunity is being a gifted child.
It would be nice. I always envied in Mean Girls, Lindsay Lohan's character has been being homeschooled, but like on safari for however many years. That's what Omega is getting up to, is like being on safari. And I guess that's like the perfect Star Wars upbringing.
Yeah.
Is, you know, you spend however many years and it's like, well, where did you go to school? It's like, well, I was in the back of a stolen and like Clone Wars era gunboat, and we run around with my team of mercenaries who I'm a genetic clone of to kill people and steal things. And so you could say
hustle trunks out of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Incredible.
Yeah.
That's my ideal job. I just want to be Omega.
Okay. I can't argue that. I mean, there's arguments to be made about the welfare of the child in a bar and hustling people for money, but past that, it sounds wonderful.
Tim,
I mean, once you get the space child protective services out of the way, everything is going to be fine.
I think it's important to note that there are no nice childhoods in the Star Wars universe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Typically
out
no.
of all the Omega and her 5 dads with good relationships with all of them, that makes up for the 5 other parent-child relationships in Star Wars, which are catastrophic.
I was gonna
That's
say
not
that
typically a good one.
Lita Mothma had a pretty good childhood, but we're about to finish Andor, and I feel like things are about to go south for Lita Mothma. So I'm gonna put a pin in that.
Yeah.
For the next 2
Yeah.
weeks.
Put a pin in that one. We'll get back to you. So, all right, very good. So, guys, hey, that is the 5 at 5, and those are the top 5 jobs. Well, technically 6 jobs that could or should be had in the Star Wars universe, and according to Growing Up Skywalker. So again, guys, real quick, remind everybody where to find all the awesomeness that is Growing Up Skywalker.
We are on all of the major podcast platforms. We are an audio only podcast, but you can see Sam every month, one Monday a month, on the FSF Podcast Star Wars RPG game if you want to see him in the flesh. Otherwise, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcast, and you can find us on our website, www.growingupskywalker.com. Same spot on Patreon. Just look us up by our name.
Very cool. Yeah, we love these guys. We love having them on the show as often as we can. And if you're looking for a great place to listen and learn about Star Wars, I strongly recommend this show. It's wonderful, and it is a non-toxic show, and that's probably why I love it so much, because it does have the great perspectives from both new and old, and I love that too. So anyway, before I get too mushy over here, guys, thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been a lot of fun. And for those of you watching, make sure that you do what the button says down there below. Click like and subscribe, pretty please, with sugar on top. Hey, go check us out on Patreon. Go check them out on Patreon as well. There's a lot of cool stuff waiting for you guys out there with the behind the scenes stuff, and they've got some really cool bonus content on their page as well. Trust me, super cool. I promise you, you won't be dissatisfied. Okay, bye.
Bye.
On behalf of the rest of the hosts of the FSF podcast, we want to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on a future episode, please contact us by means of Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FSFpodcast, or go to www.fsfpodcast.com and click on the contact link. Thanks again, and hope you enjoyed the episode.